Hello everyone, my name is Mateus. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing one of the main questions that students of English have, which is the difference between the simple past and the present perfect. Let's start with the simple past. We use the simple past to talk about finished actions that happened at a specific time. For example, when you say, I went to Moscow last year, you have the specific time of when you went to Moscow, which is last year. That's why you need to use the simple past, went. Another example is I drank coffee this morning. This morning also indicates specific time. That's why you should use drank in the simple past. There are a couple of time expressions that you could memorize to know whether or not to use the simple past. For instance, yesterday, last week, last night, in 1995, or when I was a child. So every single time you have one of those expressions, you should use the simple past. If you have a specific year, let's say in 2000, in 2005, you should also use the simple past. Or if you have a time expression that starts with when, chances are you'll need to use the simple past. Moving on now to the present perfect. The form of the present perfect is the subject plus have or has plus the past participle or the third form of the verb. Yes, when it comes to irregular verbs, for example, it's the third verb in that table of irregular verbs that I'm sure you guys are familiar with. And we use the present perfect to talk about life experiences. So the time is not specific as it is when we use the simple past. For example, when you say, I have been to China, I don't know exactly when you went to China. It's a life experience. That's why we use the present perfect simple. Or as in this case here, she has ridden a horse. Here again, I don't know when she rode a horse. That's why I need to use she has ridden. And here I use has because remember, the subject is she. After he, she, and it, we use has. Now, we also use the present perfect with these three words here, already, just, and yet. The first example, they have just left. So it indicates something that happened a short time ago. In the second sentence, she has already called her friend. So it's something that happened, something expected that happened already. The last example is they haven't finished yet. So yet is used at the end of the sentence and it indicates something that is expected to happen. But as the example shows, it hasn't happened yet. Another case when we use the present perfect is with superlatives. And when you have also some ordinal numbers, such as the first, second, and last time. For instance, when you say it's the best meal I've ever had, best is a superlative, the superlative of good, and that's why I need to use the present perfect. I have ever had. I've indicates the is a contraction of the I have. Another example is this one here. It's the first time he's given a speech. In this case here, he's also indicates the abbreviation of he has. And you know that this is the abbreviation of he has because the verb right after is in the third form, or also called the past participle. We use the present perfect when there is a connection between the past and the present. For instance, when you say, I've sprained my ankle, as you can see, even though it's an action that happened in the past, you can see the consequence in the present. And that's why I also use the present perfect. Another example would be, he's lost his keys. So here again, he lost his keys probably a while ago or like a short time ago, and I can see the consequence of that. So he's probably touching his pockets looking for the keys. We use the present perfect with how long, for, and since. And when it comes to non-action verbs such as be, have, know, and like, remember that these verbs cannot be used in the ing form. So, for example, you cannot say I am liking, you should say I like. You don't say I'm knowing, you should say I know. One example would be this one here. I've known Maria for 10 years, right? So have in the third form of the verb know. Here we use the present perfect because of the word for, which indicates in that specific sentence the duration, uh, how long you know Maria, which is 10 years. The second example is they've had that car since 2007. So here again, I have the word since, which indicates the time when something started, which is in this case 2007. So I use the present perfect. They have had, or the abbreviation they've had. I also use the present perfect with how much and how many. Look at this first example. How many books have you written? Or I've spent too much money. Now, there is a very clear and easy mnemonic that you can use to remember which words are often accompanied by the present perfect. And this mnemonic is called Genius San Francisco. The letter J stands for just, the letter E stands for ever, A already, N never, Y yet, S since, and F for. And we also have so far. So most of the time, if you have one of those words in a sentence, that means you are going to use the present perfect. So if you are given this choice, should I use present perfect? Should I use simple past here? But you see these words, it means you should use the present perfect. Now I'm going to give you a little challenge. In the comment section below this video, I'd like you to complete those sentences with your own answers, trying to use the simple past or the present perfect. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. Thank you very much.